You talked about moral victory. Can you explain how your morality contributes to the way you see the value of winning?
Sure. I think there's absolutely such a thing as a moral victory, and sometimes people that are trying to manipulate you or trying to get you to buy something will tell you differently. And it goes in two directions. For instance, let's say you're a blue belt and you compete against a real black belt, and there's plenty of people running around black belts that are not, particularly at this point. But let's say for instance you're a blue belt and you compete against a real black belt. The likelihood of you winning is almost zero. However, if you go out there and you try hard and you do your best, and again, whether you come off the mat, a winner, which would be very fortunate and unlikely, or you come off the mat, on the other side of things, if you went after it and you tried and let's say you had some nerves, but you kept that in check and you fought hard and you didn't let it get the better of you, that would be, in my opinion, a moral victory, and there would be nothing wrong for recognizing it as such. Now, that's not the same thing as an actual physical victory, but there's nothing wrong with saying, let's say your opponent's 260 pounds and you're 120, and you tie. They get the decision. Hey, I remember that happened to me at the quarterfinal, or not the quarterfinal, rather, in the third round of the Absolute in the Worlds in 2008. It was against a heavyweight or a super heavyweight, and ended up 0-0, and I wasn't happy about losing by any stretch of the imagination. But looking back, I'm like, oh, okay, well, generally speaking, if you end up level, considering that I have all of the resources and you don't, that is, you definitely performed a little bit better than I did. Now, at the end of the day, wins and losses do matter, and you do want to try to make sure that I'm not shooting for the moral victory. I'm shooting for the actual victory. But every now and then, it's very, very important to keep in mind that, am I just asking myself, am I conducting myself in a way that I respect, that hopefully other people value or respect, and also a way that I believe is going to produce actual victory and actual positive results in the long run as well. I think it's important to recognize that, because sometimes you'll see people get very frustrated. Let's say, for instance, if I box against people that are much more experienced than me all the time, I'm not going to win. And anyone that tells you differently is either not training with people that are very good, or B, they have no idea what they're talking about. But what I can say is, hey, did I do a little bit better today? And better doesn't mean did I land more punches necessarily. Was I more under control? Was I more able to kind of keep my focus and execute what I wanted to execute? And if the answer to that is yes, I'm moving in the right direction. So as far as I'm concerned, there's all sorts of different types of moral victory, but it would be the same thing as, let's say, for instance, Fedor slaps your mother. You got to hit him. You have to. He's going to kick the shit out of you, almost certainly, but you have to hit him. It would be a technical, I didn't get hurt, so that's a win if you ran away, but that would be the opposite of the moral victory in that case. Trying your best and losing would still be, I would say, the honorable thing to do.
So what you're saying is sometimes you have to pay the price for a moral victory.
Absolutely, but the reality is that martial arts, it doesn't just teach us about how to beat someone up or technique or this or that. That's really not the core of the martial arts. The core of the martial arts is heart, discipline, dedication, focus. And if you have those things, there'll always be people better than you, and there'll always be people lesser than you. But that's not the only metric by which you can judge performance or judge a person.